What you are looking at is an unnecessarily fancy laptop from the mid-2000s or thereabouts. It doesn't call itself out as much other than a Dell XPS. If you look at the bottom, Windows 7 Home Premium for refurbished PCs without a license key on it, which is kind of interesting. I don't think I've seen that. I'm sure if you scan some of those barcodes, they will actually give you the license key. Shipped with Windows XP Home Edition, which I'm kind of surprised to see on a laptop this expensive. It was apparently refurbished at some point. That sticker can come off of there because it's basically peeling off anyway. Model number PP14L, basically useless information right there. 19.5 volt input at 6.7 amps, which would be 130 watts. This thing actually requires the 130 watt adapter in order to power on. If you try using anything else, it will complain profusely at you and will not let you bypass the warning, which is, well, pretty junky because the Inspiron version of the same laptop doesn't do that at all. I do believe I have the Inspiron version. I know at the very least I've got a similar Inspiron laptop, the Inspiron 640M, which is basically the same general idea, which is to say it's a Pentium M. I looked up the Dell service tag, and Dell calls this thing the XPS Gen2. I don't know what the Gen 1 looked like, but supposedly this is a second generation Dell XPS laptop, which is kind of interesting. I believe they also sold these in desktops with a pretty similar sort of design motif going on. You'd think that this is metal. It looks like it should be metal, but it's not. It's all plastic. That might be metal, but basically this entire top panel is plastic. And as you might expect, these do light up, as does a lot of the rest of the laptop. There's openings in the front for the LED lights, as well as your usual front panel audio playback controls. And there's some lights in the side vents as well. It's got two side vents. There's one there and there's one on the other side. There's two USB ports here. Here's the optical drive, CDRW and DVD-ROM. Again, I'm surprised not to see a DVD burner in this because it was expensive. Would have been an expensive laptop. I'm not sure why it's got dual heat pipe cooling because it's just a Pentium M. There's the DC input. VGA. They are nice enough to give you a DVI output, but you couldn't use it for a second VGA monitor because it's digital only. There's 4 more USB ports, which is actually pretty nice. Modem, Ethernet, S-video output. Again, there's a second vent right there. SD card reader, but it's not a combo reader, so you couldn't put a memory stick in there or anything like that. There's 1394, headphone, microphone, 1 PCMCIA card slot. I believe that this just has a blank in it. Yep, that's just a blank. Hard drive is right there. And there's something, I don't know what there. And of course your obligatory broken plastic. I want to say that this is a 15-inch laptop. I believe when I power it up it'll tell you. The battery is somewhat good. And that I believe the laptop will actually run with it. But it's telling me that I should replace it soon. You can see there's definitely some wear on the palm rest. That's one of the reasons why I don't like these silver painted plastic palm rests. This tends to look like crap after a while because the silver paint wears off. So, there's some scratching, lots of wear on that space bar, but the rest of the keys don't look nearly as worn out, so I don't know why there's so much wear on that space bar. Just that apparently there is. I believe this actually has the Centrino platform. Actually, I am telling you wrong. This does not have the Centrino platform because it's got NVIDIA graphics, which I'm surprised actually still work. We can go ahead and power it up here. Oh, it does say Centrino. Interesting, it's got NVIDIA graphics in it, so I don't know why it says that. Maybe it's got switchable graphics. But anyway, you saw there on that BIOS screen, usually where it says, you know, like XPS blah blah blah, or blah 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 series, whatever, it doesn't say anything at all. So I had to look up the service tag in order to figure out what this laptop was. I'm sure there's an updated BIOS for it. Maybe I'll update it even. It's a Pentium M at 2 gigahertz even. Not hyper-threading capable. I don't know if there were any Pentium M's with hyper-threading. I don't think there were, given the Pentium M is basically nothing more than a Pentium 3, and the Pentium 3 never supported hyper-threading. It's also not dual-core or anything like that, not dual processor, so it's just a single core, which is kind of crippling in this day and age. 2 gigs of RAM, dual channel. I probably can scrounge up enough memory to upgrade this to 4 gigabytes, but that's the most that it's ever going to see with DDR2. It is nice to see that it is DDR2 and not DDR. 80 gigabyte hard drive. I don't know if it's IDE or SATA. I'll have to check on that. If it's SATA, I can upgrade it. If not, then it's going to be stuck with that 80 forever. Now you can see NVIDIA GeForce Go 6800 Ultra video. It's a 17-inch laptop. I told you wrong. But, so yeah, that makes the 1920 by 1200 native resolution at least a little bit better, because I find that these smaller panels look really terrible when they're high res. I have a ThinkPad T500, which is a 15-inch laptop, with a 1920 by 1200 display in it, and it just kind of doesn't look very good. I find that on those, the backlight actually is what lets it down the most, because it's just got a dim backlight. I don't know why. Sigma Trash 9750 audio, some crappy Connexent modem that nobody's ever going to use, and Intel wireless in the mini PCI. No Bluetooth, and no AC adapter plugged in. Here's your battery info, 94% charged, it's discharging. This battery is charging normally, however it is reaching the end of its usable life. I've never actually seen that message before. Usually it just jumps straight from the battery is working normally to you need to change your battery. Date and time's correct. Boot sequence, I did enable the onboard NIC, which is interesting because this does not actually have an option for enabled with PXE or enabled with RPL or anything like that. So I guess it just kind of supports PXE booting when you enable that option in the boot sequence. Never actually tried it. Mini PCI is on, which is good because I need the Wi-Fi, or will eventually. Modem enabled. System fan LEDs. You can change those? Awesome! Oh, that is way out. Cool. You can turn them off, too. Oh yeah, I'm gonna change those. System panel LEDs. I believe those are the ones in the top, which you can see are pretty worn out. Yes. I don't know, we'll set it to whatever that is. Topaz? Maybe I'll set it to green. The emerald color. I think that looks pretty cool. Matches the walls in here. System speaker. I don't know, that looks pretty neat. So we'll do that, we'll customize this. Of course, again, you can change the brightness of these, but they don't go all the way off, which is interesting. Turn it all the way back up again. That looks really cool. I actually quite like that. I think it's supposed to be like a pure white, but of course they're red, green, and blue LEDs. They're not white LEDs or multicolor LEDs or anything like that. They might be multicolor, but I don't think they are. Video, standard video options. Security, standard options again. It has CompuTrace if you want to turn that on, but it's not on. USB wake is turned off. Speed step is on. And of course, all that's pretty standard stuff. So we'll save and exit on that. And we'll let it boot. It's running Windows 7, as mentioned. It's running the refurbisher copy of Windows 7. And I believe it's a pretty fresh install. I didn't see any data on it. So I'll probably end up just keeping it. Look at how small that mouse pointer is. Rather than going through the trouble of reinstalling from scratch, because it's just kind of a pain to do that with Windows 7 these days. Welcome. Even on a 17-inch display, 1920 by 1200 is a little bit high of a resolution, in my opinion. I did change the desktop background. It comes with some of these that I guess the system refurbisher added. And I think they might have added a lot of these icons on the desktop as well, all these things. We'll go ahead and run the properties on this. You can see Windows 7 Home Premium, Service Pack 1, refurbished by Q-Tech Computers. 3 gigabytes of RAM with 2 gigabytes usable. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, because the BIOS reported 2 gigs, and I'm pretty sure it's only got 2 gigs installed, so I don't know where the third gigabyte's coming from. There's their icon. It is certified! Yeah, certified crap. Oh, man. Your Windows Experience Index needs to be refreshed. Windows is activated. You can just barely see that down there. I haven't hooked it up to a network yet. I'll probably run a Malwarebytes scan on it just to make sure. Not applicable while on batteries. Well, it just so happens I have a 130 watt AC adapter. Let's go ahead and plug it in. And that is the part where the computer halts and catches fire. Here we go. It's plugged in. Windows is reporting a battery failure, which is interesting. So let's try this again. New hardware detected. We'll refresh. Let's see what it happens to do. Assessing memory performance. So I guess the RAM changed. 3.7 on the CPU. Because it's 5.9 on the graphics. And 4.5 on the hard drive. 4.4 for the memory. Like I said, I could probably put 4 gigabytes in this. Let's take a look at the device manager, see if there's any unknown devices. Nope, doesn't look like there is. Host name is Dell XPS, that's very accurate. ST980, that's an IDE hard drive, so it's stuck with that forever. Just has the NVIDIA graphics. Hitachi LG CDRW DVD-ROM, not bad. It's got a Ricoh 1394 controller, Broadcom Gigabit Ethernet, and Intel Pro Wireless 2200 BG. Not terrible. Sigma Trash C Major Audio, which stands for crap major, which I'm only slightly kidding about. The audio on these Dell laptops with the Sigmatel is, in fact, the Dell computers in general, the Sigmatel audio is just not very good. It might be a cut above Analog Devices Sound Max, but that's a pretty low bar to clear, so I always found that they had problems, particularly with the input side of things. I mean, that doesn't sound too bad. I don't know if Windows comes... I know it does come with sample music. I'll have to see if I can find any of it. But I don't know. It's got VLC on it. I don't know if any of it is something I can play on the video. It might not be. Year 2008. I thought Windows 7 was older than that. But maybe it's not. That is loud. Wasn't expecting it to be that loud. Well, it sounds okay, I guess. I think most of the issue that I've ever had with the Sigmatel audio has to do with the line inputs anyway. The audio output wasn't generally too bad. Some of it was kind of noisy. I remember my Dimension 5150 having pretty noisy audio outputs. Especially when it was around another computer or doing things on the network. It seemed like it was the network that really kind of introduced a lot of noise and hash into the audio. And this isn't connected to the network at all, so that might be why it sounds good. I don't know. Don't know at all. What I do know is that there's not much in the way of data on here. About, what is that? 20 gigabytes? Or thereabouts? Less than 20 gigabytes. So 15 gigabytes, so that's probably just a bog standard Windows install with some custom graphics and some other customizations done by the system refurbisher. Again, like I said, I'll probably keep this Windows installed after I run a malware scan on it to make sure that it's not filled with viruses. If I do reload it, I'm certainly keeping most of these backgrounds because I think that this actually happens to look pretty cool. I think they came from somewhere else. There's a thing hiding under here, and I can't quite tell what that is. Alright, I found them. It's under C Windows Web Wallpaper. Here's the one that I've got. Wallpaperswide.com. So, obviously they just grabbed a bunch of images off of some random website here. At least they grabbed some nice looking images. That's the Windows default. That's the one that it was set to when I got it. That looks very unnatural, but I don't know. What do I know? I've never explored trees in great detail. Of course, there's the one I've got it set to. So, next step for this is going to be probably Malwarebytes scan. And then I can put it on my network, run some updates on some stuff. I'm probably going to get rid of stupid Google Chrome over there and install a proper browser. Even though the problem is that everything these days is designed for Chrome. Or Edge, I guess, if you want to use Microsoft's built-in browser, but I don't know. It thinks it's 2:34 in the morning. I don't know why. It's probably set for, yeah, it's set for Central Time. So that's not really correct. It's also 3 hours fast. But I guess that'll be fixed when I hook it up to a network, so. Either way, that's pretty much it for this. I don't have anything else that I really want to share. So, there's your Dell XPS Gen 2 laptop. I never really did explain where I got this thing from. It actually came from the Ham Fest. It was given to me by formerly Matt S78MN on YouTube, but I guess he's calling himself Kirby Crazy on here like he is everywhere else now. So, I don't know, go check out his channel and go spam his email. Tell him he needs to upload more videos. Because he does. But it's good night for this laptop. And again, I'll probably do some more customizations. But I don't really need it to do anything else. It's pretty much done. As it is. I love it when my work really is just cleaning up things and I don't have to do too much work at all in order to get a laptop in tip-top shape.